we want to develop that clamp, right? So here, like, and it's not me having my legs crossed and just trying to crush them. Like I'm here because I want to create my angle so that my next option, I'm going to be throwing up my leg. Right? I'm throwing this up, and I want to, like, I'm not flat on my back. Here, come down a little bit more. Like, this is what people do. Like, this is rubber guard. This is rubber guard. Like, this is all garbage. There's no frame here. I have no pressure on the shoulder. Like, both of these things are not doing what they're supposed to do, right? Like, this is like, it's like the Wish knockoff. Like, this is, I'm gonna get hurt. Both, I'm gonna hurt my knee and my elbow, right? So, for me, like, I'm breaking down his posture, creating my angle, and then I'm gonna bring my knee up. I'm gonna put shoulder pressure, or put pressure on the shoulder here. Right? I'm getting in this clamp position, right? And so I'm keeping his head broken down, like his posture broken down, right? Same as any guard, right? I wanna keep him here, right? Then I'm bringing this over. There's knee here. I can hug my knee, and I'm bringing this over. If I just grab this, like if I throw this up and grab this, that's okay, but I still don't have a lot of shoulder pressure here. Like, I'm flat on my back. This isn't, his shoulder isn't carrying any real pressure still. Now it is. Like, I am trying to lift myself up on my knee. I'm hugging this. Right, so now my body weight is on this shoulder and keeping him compressed. Right? This frame is stopping him from driving into me. Right? That's what this does. It has to be at a 90 degree. Anything away from a 90 degree, it's weak. Right? I want it at 90 degree. I want it driving into a sternum. I'm hugging my knee. Right? This is proper New York. I have this arm. It's called New York. Right? We won't worry about going everything. I'll tell you the name of the position, but it's just so you have a reference. Okay? This is New York. I have the arm. I'm here, right? But right now we're just I'm here, switching my hips, back and forth, here. Now I'm gonna throw this up. I'm gonna hug my knee. We're just getting into this, right? I have his head, I still have one, like a collar tie, and I'm hugging my knee. Right. Switching back and forth, here. Right? Collar tie, hugging my knee. Right? Like, now I have one arm, one leg versus his one arm. Right? I should be able to keep a decent amount of pressure. And when I am trying to keep that pressure, think that you're almost trying to turn to like a belly down armbar. Right? That's your like mentality. Right? If I'm doing anything other than that, like, he's just gonna flatten me out. Right? I can still have options, right? But that's when we're getting to more of the flexibility based, right? We want to stay away from that right now until we can kind of understand it. All right, so we're here. And then my bottom foot, I'm not lazy with this. This is not here. He's already passed, right? Like, this is a weak guard, right? I want this, right? I don't want him to get past my knee, right? As soon as he's past my knee, he's pretty much past my guard, right? So this has to stay up. This is staying up on his hip, and I'm clamping. Like, I'm driving my knee into his chest. I'm trying to bring my knees together. I'm here. Switch. Boom. Here. Hugging my knee, reinforcing. Right? Trying to turn belly down with it. Right? Back on the other side. Here. Right? You just kind of get used to going back and forth. Here. All right, we're not gonna, like, eventually, like, the next thing we do is that's when we're gonna bring this over, and now I have this arm to be able to kind of start attacking things, right? But right now we're just gonna be collar tie, controlling my knee, right? And putting heavy pressure on that shoulder. Does that make sense? Okay, let's try that out a little bit. 1, 2, 3. All right. We'll do this next one just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll work on trying to actually keep this guard. All right. And so I'm on my side, all right, clamping. All right, from here, I'm reinforcing my knee, and I'm going to bring this over here. Okay, so I'm going from this clamp position to New York. Here, here. All right. I'm turning my elbow in nice and tight. Back healing. Right. He wants to drive me flat on my back. Right. It's now that I have this locked in, it's not the worst thing to happen, but it's still not where I'd like to be. This is like lower in the hierarchy. I don't like to be here as much. Like I still have lots of options, but especially against a bigger guy, I want to keep him on his side. Right. So I'm here. Heel. I'm back healing. Right. This is at 90 degrees. If he starts to flatten me out, right, I can start pushing on the hip. Right. I'm just kind of keeping him here. I just got to make sure that when this happens, if I have my foot on the hip, if he brings this arm back, like this is why they probably won't. If he brings his arm back to push this between his legs, like that's a good time for me to bring this through for the triangle, right? So like this foot on the hip is usually pretty safe, right? Because I don't want to go here. This is bad news. This is where I don't want to be. This is if you're losing your rubber guard a lot, it's because they're getting over your knee and then they're flattening you out, and then it's like rubber guard sucks. It's like no, you suck at it, right? Right. So it's like any guard. Like if they got too far, right now I gotta change what I'm doing, right? Change my approach and get it back, right? So right now we're gonna get into this New York position, right? And I'm gonna try to keep them on their side, or I'm gonna just try to keep this really. And the person on the top is going to try to get this leg pushed down and try to step over. Right? And I don't want this. Right? As soon as this happens, push it down, bring his knee over. And as soon as this happens, I gotta bring my foot in, I gotta start fighting to get this back out, I get back to the clamp, and I get back into mission control. For New York. All right, so we're already here. We're gonna go to New York, and now our opponent is going to be trying to push this knee down, right? And push this foot down, whatever, to step over here. Right, we'll do that, and then we'll go on to this knee guarding of it. And then maybe we'll get on to a couple little attacks, right? So you can kind of see what to do. Okay? One more time. So we're here. We're starting here. Going into New York. New York, I'm trying to just hold on to it. All right, back healing, clamping. Right? My opponent is going to try to flatten me out. And I just got to start pushing this knee down and stepping over. Right? Here. All right, now he's passed. Okay, just try that out a little bit, and then we'll add on to how to regard, etc. All right, so just try to keep that right now. Here, clamping. All right, and he's gonna just push this knee down and step over. Right, so you can kind of see how you're keeping this knee high, right, knee to chest, or at least as close as I can to it. Right, I'm trying to keep my knee and my elbow close to each other so they can kind of reinforce each other. See? All right. Anytime, any guard, right? Like I have my frames, right? Here, my frame. This is what you want. You pretty much always want this, right? So, and as soon as this starts to get stretched out, right, I'm losing my guard, right? I have my guard. My elbow and my knee are reinforcing each other. This is great, great. Well, this is probably better. No, yeah, good. Right? So as long as my knee and my elbow are reinforcing each other, I'm golden. As soon as they start to get stretched out, right, this is bad. Right, that's when I have to get it back at all costs. And I can start coming back into attack. Okay? So just think about trying to get your knee and your elbow back to each other, or at least close to each other. And the person on top is trying to push this down and just get their outside knee to your hip. Okay? All right, 1, 2, 3. Wave to myself. Okay, this isn't good. Okay. Right now, all of his pressure is on my fingers. Like, my fingers are weak. Right? My wrist, no gi, you're almost always goosenecking over everything. Like, I'm never grabbing his bicep. Like, I'm goosenecking over it. This is pretty much like a sloth grip, right? Like, this is how I'm grabbing everything, right? So when I'm here, it's like a sloth grabbing over. I should be able to wave to myself. This is where I want to be, okay? Like this. Okay? If I'm like this, it's making this opening bigger. It's making all this pressure on my fingers. Right? It's not good. I'm here. Right? So now when Billy tries to posture up, it's quite difficult. If he tries to posture up on my fingers, right, he can start to, he's picking me up, but he's opening it all up. Right? If I'm goosenecking, right, and my elbow and my knee are touching, I'm reinforcing my knee. So my arm and my leg are working together on this side, my arm and my leg are working together on this side, right? And I can keep that pressure on him, right? I'm locking this together, right? Even this one, I'm like goosenecking over, right? Hugging that knee, right? Like rubber guard, like most guards, you have to be patient and you have to wait for them to mess up. Right? Like a lot of times, patience is the best defense in it as well. And patience is a lot of times the best offense. Right? You got to wait for them to screw up. Right? So yeah, just here. This is what I want, not here. Okay? Let's go back to it. 1, 2, 3. You're late and you come in a gi.
Oh, I just came to say hi.
Yeah, in a gi.
Yeah. It took me an hour to find where it is.
But so we were playing. We were going into New York, right? So it's new. Like, I'll just quickly. So this is mission control. That's what we call it. I don't know if there's any other names for it. Mission control, right? When I have this arm on the mat, I have control of this arm. It's called New York, right? When he has this leg pushed through, it's called New Jersey because it's almost as good as New York. Now here is where we're going to go next, and I was just showing, what's your name? Gilbert? Yeah, I was just showing Gilbert because he couldn't grab this. It was like he could only get this, which is okay, like, but it's not as strong. I can't keep as strong of a frame. Like this is kind of weak. Not kind of, it is weak. But I can do this quickly while I'm trying to transition somewhere else. All right, but I might as well keep the head or here. I would say I'm gonna still keep that head, to be honest. But I'm gonna go London. I'm just bringing this arm through, right? Remember how we were doing this before? We were keeping this leg up because we're trying to push it down and get over my knee. Same thing. Make sure you keep this up, right? This has to stay attached to the hip, and I'm still clamping. I'm still here, right? I have his head, right? And now this is for like lower flexibility. You're gonna bring this arm through, right? And then I'm gonna make a fist, and I'm gonna be a jerk. I'm gonna punch him in the neck. I'm gonna punch this down, right? And then when I punch it down, I'm trying to straighten out my right arm. I'm straightening it out and driving it to the mat. Right? This is London. If I want to keep them in, I want to keep him. I can still keep him here. Actually, I have a submission here, and I have, and then I'm going to use this to probably bring it over the face, etc. Right? But this is a good control position. Right? This is London. Right? I don't want to when I'm here, bring this through. Right? I want to put as much pressure on the shoulder as possible, and by doing so, is still that act of me punching down. Like right now, I'm punching to the mat. If I'm trying to submit him or just be a jerk or add control, I'm punching him in the neck, and he's gonna try to turn away, and then that's when I can use this to pop this over the face, etc. Right, but let's just try out this London position. Right, so this is New York. This is London. Right, so that's it here. Controlling the knee line. And I'm bringing this. I'm up over the shoulder. If you don't hate your partner, you can just grab their shoulder. If they're annoying you, knuckles to neck. And then I'm still holding on to that head, keeping this posture broken down. And I'm still clamping. Right? I'm always clamping. Right? As soon as I'll have to relieve pressure from that clamp when I go from here to here. Right? But this is just doing a little extra work for a second. Right? But once I get this back, I'm still clamping. All right. The thing about this is, once I'm here, there's less worry about him passing my leg. Right? Because it's so much easier to pull this over the face. Right? And that's what we're going to be getting into next, is when he starts to pass over he's starting to pass over my leg, I got to pass over his head. Because now it doesn't matter that he passed over my leg. Because now I have this frame in between me and him. Okay, so let's just get into London. Sorry, Billy. Actually, I should use Tim.
Yes.
Right. So clamp. Right. Right, we're here. Getting my angle. Got the clamp. Right. Going into London. Right. This is New York. This is London. Okay, let's just try getting into that position, and then we'll move on. 1, 2, 3. Fire and flip. I didn't create any of the names, but yeah, that's what they call it. Okay. Kung Fu move here. Okay. But for today, or like for flexibility issues, or everyone should be able to do this one, right? And we're just going to go off it from London, right? And so we're here. We have our clamp, knuckles to neck. Right? I'm going to start punching him in the neck. Essentially, I'm just driving this down. Right? As I drive this down, this is going to help me bring my leg over his face. I'm putting heavy pressure, and then this can come over. So it's making me have this angle, right? And I'm keeping pressure on him. And I brought this over the face. All right. Here, London. I would like to have wrist control, because why wouldn't you want it? Right. So from here, right now we'll go straight. We'll go into the straight jacket first, because it's very simple. It's just if you have wrist control. Right. My foot is under the arm. I wasn't gonna do this right away, but everyone's like wants a submission. So now it's gonna make you get this foot over the face. You have wrist control, right? And now I'm trying to drive my knee to the mat, and I'm gonna be pulling his wrist towards me and stomping on my heel. Right? And this is all before I just go into omoplata, right? Like this is just an option before that, right? We're only gonna do this a couple minutes, right? And then we'll go on to a couple other things. I want you to have some cake at the end, right? I want you to be able to actually want to do this. It's like we bring this over. I have wrist control, foot into the armpit, stomping. Yes, there's lots of options. If I can't get the foot under the armpit, right, I can go plata, go clinch, yada, yada. But right now, this is if I have wrist control. All right, I got the clamp. Getting into London. From London, as I'm gonna start punching into him, I'm getting wrist control. I would say you want to have elbow close to you. This is a weaker grip. Right? This way I'm stronger. Here. Right? Punching down, popping over the face. Right? I'm gonna pull his arm towards me. I gotta make sure, if I'm pulling his arm towards me and I'm lazy, he's gonna just pop out. Well, I have other options, but don't do that. Keep your knee driving to the mat. Right? Pull, I'm stomping on my heel. Last time. Clamp. Got London. As I'm extending out, I'm grabbing his wrist. Right? His wrist will most likely be there. It's not going to be too far back. I can grab his elbow and track down. Right? Gather it. Punching down. Remember, you're like almost treating it like you're going to go for a belly down armbar. Pop this over the face, under the arm. I'm going to pull. When I'm doing it, I'm going to be more down. I just want you to see. I'm going to stomp on my heel. If you can't bring your foot up and stomp on your heel, just put your shin on the back of the heel. You probably don't need either. You can probably just pull and kick straight. But that's just to reinforce. Okay? I'll be down here, and then my bottom leg, the shin is going into the back of the Achilles and pushing. Does that make sense? Your grip on the hand, honestly, it's whatever you get. You're pulling it towards you. You have two arms versus his one. You're most likely you can overpower it, especially when it gets over here. It's so weak. Right? And you have your shin is on their neck, right? And when you're pulling, like their shoulder is getting the other side. Okay, we'll do this for a little bit, and then we'll go on to a couple other options. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There's always and, right? There's always something to do. A rubber guard, or at least how I play it, I don't force anything. I pretty much play whatever they give me. I just want to, as long as I'm going to stay attached, and then I attack them however I can. Like, I don't know, I can't really choose my path. I try to find like a way through the chaos. Right, so on this London, right, popping it over. Oh, I was asked like when's the best time to take your arm out of the London? As soon as this comes over the face, as soon as my foot comes over the face, this hand is free now. Like I'm coming over to grab his face or grab something, attack, whatever. Like that's when this one becomes free and to attack. If it's not doing anything, then it's putting extra pressure on the shoulder. Right? It's either in process of doing something or it's here. This is home base for it. Right? So I'm going for the straight jacket. Right? I got this. Right? If he's too big, too strong, I can't get this pulled in. Right? Then I'm just going to triangle. All right? If I can't get this pulled in, I'm going to triangle my legs. Right? I'm going to kick him in the armpit. And I'm going to go for a Hazelet. I'm driving his hand to my hip. And then I'm going to drive it up to my knee. Here. Right? Just a Kimura. Shoulder lock. I don't know. Yeah, it's just here. Drive to the hip and up. Right? Some people walk this arm in and walk it up. I don't see the point personally. I'm not sure why they do it. If you can try it this way. If you don't like it, you can go this way and start crawling up your leg. Either way seems to work. But I just grab the wrist, right, end of the lever, and crank up. All right. So we get into it again. Right. London, right? Looking for a wrist control. popping over. Even if I don't have wrist control, right? Or if he starts to grab at my feet, right? That's why I'm gonna triangle my legs. Right? So that's why I couldn't get into the straitjacket. I don't need wrist control for this. I would like to have wrist control for it. And then I'm gonna finish on here. I would like to have wrist control. It'd be great. It's not a prerequisite, but this is gonna make it a hell of a lot easier for you. Right? I'm trying to think on, yeah, never mind. There's more reactions. If they do this, there's something else to do. But anyways, London, knuckles to neck, creating my space, try to get wrist. Popping over, right, I wanna go for straitjacket. I can't, too strong. Triangling my legs, creating my angle, crank. Okay. Drive to the hip. With this one, in training, be nice, obviously. Competition with them going 100%, you might have to give it a good crank, get a panic tap off of it. It is good control, but if they can roll and it becomes kind of a clusterfuck, like I want hip and up. Billy finished the carny off of this like a couple weeks ago, right? And it has to be quick, or it should be done quick, so you can get that panic tap, right? It's not the best control position, but it's pretty good. And just don't like, you're not gonna treat it like an arm bar where you're trying to be nice and like you're gonna grab and crank, right? Panic tap. Yeah, not here, but when you're competing, and not in-house tournaments, because then you're a jerk as well. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, let's try that, and then we'll do the options if, action, reaction. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Why I'm going here, like boom, blend in, pop over, right? Straight jacket, and now I'm in Hazelet. Like this Hazelet is, his defense is to roll out, right? Like if I'm here, it's just a normal plata. That's essentially, that's all we're at, right? So the Hazelet, I have this triangle, I have this arm. I want this arm to finish, right? It makes it so much easier. If I don't have it, you better be cranking, right? Or you're gonna have to switch positions, right? This is a Hazelet. I believe this is the Hazeleg. This stops the roll. Now I don't need the arm, right? So it's like, if I'm here, I can't get that arm, right? I lose the arm, I can hook underneath the leg, and now I can do the same thing. It's all the same move. I'm just using something else to stop him from rolling, right? So the difference, this is the Hazelet, this is the Hazeleg. I didn't create any of these names, right? If I don't have this triangled, this is the carny. There's just a difference of just this simple thing here. Okay? This, I think, is better. Right? If I can have this is probably better control. Right? This is more, you're more likely to get this though, the carny, right? So the next step, yeah, well, really this is the same thing. The Hazelet, I lose this hand, try to hook under that leg, right? Here, and just straightening out. And then that's gonna stop him from rolling, okay? And so we won't really go through that. You can play with it at some point in this next little bit, okay? So we're here, right? I'm just gonna go for the carny now, right? So I'll just go right from the beginning. London. Here, and you don't, it's not that you have to go to London to get all these. These are just this is just easier for everyone to get the leg over the face right now, right? So we're here, right? Popping over. I'm gonna shoot my bottom leg straight and hook that leg, right? And this is the carny. I'm gonna put heavy shoulder pressure down and go for the exact same thing. Driving in my hip, bringing it up to the knee, right? Because if I don't do this, Billy is just gonna roll out. Right? So that's the whole point of me having that leg hooked. Right? Even if I do have this hooked, right? Billy can now use his right leg to hook my left leg, take the hook off, and roll out. But that's just, there's never a perfect move. There's always a way to get out, right? So we have the carny, right? You can play with getting into this position. Okay? And we're just gonna go for the submission. And if you can see how, see Billy's legs? See how he's gonna hook with his right leg, strip my hook, and then he can just roll out, just like an omoplata, right? That being said, I can come up and attack it the same way as if he escapes an omoplata, right? Like most of the rubber guard system I play is just a pre-omoplata, right? And then worst case scenario, you get said omoplata, right? So London, right? Knuckles to neck, popping over the face, right? We were going straight jacket, Hazelet, Haze bag, right? But now we're just gonna go carny. Hooking that leg, driving my knees to the mat, right? Going for the submission. And your partner can try the escape. He's gonna hook my leg and roll out. Right? And yeah, you can sit up, baby arm, whatever. Like, does that make sense? You're just straightening out your bottom leg and you're gonna hook their leg, all right? And yeah, and then we'll play around with that and we can move on. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right. Like, the main reason I wanna drive this over his face is like if he starts to pass this leg, right? I'm here. Like even if, as he's passing my leg, right, I'm popping this over, right? If he's past my leg and I'm still here, this is bad news. This is, he's going to pass if I don't hurry up. I got to get this foot over the face, otherwise I'm done. He's passed, right? So as he's passing over, I'm getting, the race is for me to get this foot over his face before he gets over top of my knee, right? So even on this one, if he's passed fully, if he's got, now this is where we were going. This is the carny, right? This is same position, this is the carny. Now, if he's past my leg completely, right? No, I'll get the foot on the other hip, right? So he's completely past my guard, completely past my foot over, right? So if we were here, right, I'd be screwed. I can't keep this, and he would completely pass my guard, right? So if I have the foot over the face, though, right, now I didn't name it. This is called Oprah, but it's the same thing. I'm doing the same move. I'm going for this shoulder lock, driving it into my hip and up, right? My foot, though, is hooked onto the hip. I'm stretching him out, and that's just stopping him from rolling. I like this one a lot. This one's pretty hard to roll out of, right? Right. I find if my foot is in between his legs, it's easier for him to actually defend it rather than the Oprah, right? Because now I have that heavy pressure on his hip, and I can drive it away. instead of just on his leg. Right now I'm on his leg. It's easier for him to pop over. Right? He can hook and roll out. Right? So if you can get good at it, like your options, like you can either go get into the Oprah. I guess you wouldn't want to go straight into the Oprah because then you're abandoning a bunch of attacks, right? But it's a good option, right? So I'm going for the carny. He's pinning, right? I can pop that out and I can go into the Oprah. Or while he's passing, I can go into this Oprah. Right? So it's the same move, right? Hazelet, Hazeleg, carny, Oprah. You're just getting a shoulder lock. The difference is that you can pin, you can stop them from rolling different ways, right? But it's all the same move. It's just the leg position is different. Right? So like, don't get too confused by, oh, there's so many moves. Like, it's all the same move. It's just I'm stopping him from rolling. Here, 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 right? You're just, in worst case scenario, here, right? It's all the same move. It's just, right? You might as well attack these, and it's like I can either go here, straight to omoplata and come up. It's like, okay, or I can go here, right, pass the S over. I can try to go for my straight jack. I can't get it. Get Hazelet, right? Hazeleg, carny, Oprah, all fails. Come up in omoplata. Right, so you're just trying to make more dead zones, right? Sorry, Billy. I said a lot of stuff there. The Oprah, you're just here and you're hooking the hip, right? So this is over the face. You're hooking the hip. So instead of being between the legs, try hooking the hip, right? And it's really strong. Cool. All right, 1, 2, 3.